Yo, what is going on, guys? Johnny GB here, bringing you guys week number 6 of the ICBA. I am like 2 weeks late on this. I've just been unable to really record many of the things I've wanted to. I've tried focusing on streaming, but I mean, that's my fault. I've not been keeping up to date with content on my channel, but we are back with ICBA content now. I will be all caught up by next Monday. You guys will have all the battles that I've missed, week 6 through 9. Giggity. But we are taking on DS Gaming in week 6. You guys see the squads on the team. So we have an assault vested assault vested Tangrowth, I believe, or Rocky Helmet. It's been a while since I've actually played this game. We have Naganadel with Firium Z, Dragonium. I think Dragonium Z because he has no Dragon Z switch-ins. So we're gonna hop right into the game. Actually, easier for me to remember what actually happened to the game, what I brought this game by just watching the replay. But we are looking to bounce back after a loss in week 5, in which it was a 1-0 loss, very close loss. We're going to lead off with our Tangrowth because it just matches up well versus the rest of his team. We are assault vested to take on the Mega Manectric. I remember that for the most part, as he does lead his Tangrowth or his Milotic, which gives me a free knockoff opportunity. This lets me set up a it doesn't let me set up. Lets me get rid of any of the items that are coming into my opponent's team. So we do knock off the assault vest from his Tangrowth, so I know it was probably meant to take on stuff like Naganadel, for instance. We are going to hard swap right out into my Skarmory because I'm not really worried about Amoonguss touching Skarmory. Yes, it has HP Fire, but HP Fire doesn't do the damage it should, as he makes a very good double switch and he gets out into his Manectric. So with Manectric, and I don't want to risk my Skarmory yet. I have my Mamoswine, which I can use to scout to see what his Manectric may have. The only things I'm really worried about could be potentially something like HP Steel. Flamethrower might do a good amount. We are thick fat with a bit of bulk. But we are also Choice Scarfed, which allows us to outspeed this Manectric and potentially deal damage. He's going to show off the Signal Beam, so he was anticipating my Tangrowth to come in. He does unfortunately get the critical hit, which is a bad thing. But we are able to fire off a Icicle Crash, I believe. Or no, we fire off a knockoff because I figure whatever comes in, we can remove their items and put them in range of Icicle Spear or not Icicle Spear, Icicle Crash or Ice Shard. Here with the Life Orb, we are in range of knocking out the Aerodactyl with Ice Shard. So one, this is potentially his hazard removal gone. His Stealth Rocks are now gone. I feel really good here. And it's one of those Pokemon that can check my Naganadel that is also out of the way. Here we have Mienshao coming in. I do have a Rocky Helmet Slowking that can deal with Mienshao and get a little bit of chip damage onto the Mienshao, as he's just going to go for the knockoff, get rid of my Rocky Helmet, which was something that was not occurring in my mind at the time. It was like, hey, this thing gets knockoff, it gets U-turn. I was like, you know what, I can switch into a high jump kick or a drain punch, but here we're just going to withdraw Slowking. We're going to get right out into Skarmory. I know Skarmory can take any 2 hits from this thing, as he does go for the U-turn. So with him going for U-turn, that gives him a free switch into his Manectric. I know that he cannot take me out because of Sturdy, which is fantastic. So it allows me to get potential Stealth Rocks up to his field. And just having the chip from Stealth Rocks damage is good for stuff like Amoonguss and Mienshao that can be weakened and put in range of Naganadel sweeping the game. So here we are just going to retreat. We're going to get back out into my Tangrowth. Signal Beam I'm not worried about anymore. It doesn't do much damage to an Assault Vested Tangrowth. You're going to see here Thunderbolt does little to nothing, which is fantastic. We do have the Earthquake on this as well, but he does go for the Volt Switch to swap right out. So, I mean, Tangrowth is still mostly healthy. I'm not too concerned about the damage it's taking. Regenerator will bring it back as Bill the Amoonguss comes right back in. And from here, I just go for the Earthquake. We'll see how much damage it's going to do to the Amoonguss. It was mostly in case he tried to stay in, go for the Signal Beam, see how much damage it'd do to me. But you know what? Here we just fire off another Earthquake. I was really expecting him to make the same double switch that he did earlier in the game by bringing in Manectric, predicting me to go for Skarmory, but instead he's just going to show the HP Fire. It's going to do absolutely nothing to my to my Tangrowth. And now I can withdraw Tangrowth, and I'm just going to go out into my Miltank. So Miltank has Sap Sipper, so we're not too worried about this thing going for Giga Drain or Leech Seed or Sleep Powder. But instead he goes for the Sludge Bomb. He does get the poison here, which is a little unfortunate. I do have Heal Bell, which does pretty much just mitigate or negate that poison. And here we can start getting my Stealth Rocks up. I don't care what he switches that into, whether it is my Milotic or his Mienshao. Let's get the rocks up. That is chip damage that Manectric will be taking, that Amoonguss will be taking. And with my Milotic, I don't really have the best of options for this. I have stuff like Naganadel that can take it out. I also have stuff like Tangrowth that can check it, but I don't really have a great option. I'm just going to go for the Milk Drink here. I want to scout, see what he's going to do, because I don't know what this Milotic set is, other than it is Marvel Scale with Flame Orb. So he's going to go for the Toxic. I look at this time as a great chance for me to get in my Skarmory here, because I'm thinking it can't really touch my Skarmory. If I get burned, I don't really care. So in comes my Skarmory, and he's just going to go for the Dragon Tail, which is something I was not expecting for him to go for, but unfortunately my Milotic stays in. I go out to Slowking, and I know, you know what, hey, he can't touch me with his Milotic, so I can go for Psychics. I can go for Slack Offs, just pretty much keep it healthy and force him to burn his recovers. That was the first thing that came to mind, was writing down how many recovers he's used, because I will need to know in case this thing tries to stall me out. Toxic's going to do its thing, wear me down, and my Milotic is also going to start getting worn down. I also have to take advantage of his recover turn, which would allow me to get in my Skarmory. And with Skarmory, I can get up, I believe it's a layer of Spikes is what I go for. It's just more hazard damage that I can put down that can make sure his team is extra weakened for my Naganadel to go in and finally just clean up the game. So, not Matt's. The Milotic is actually going to switch out, and he's going to go out into Balto, the Mega Manectric, which is okay because now he's going to take Stealth Rock damage. I do get one layer of Spikes up as well. I'm not too worried about the Intimidate here. It won't phase me. And I know because of the leftovers that my Skarmory has, I am in sturdy range, so even if he goes for a Thunderbolt Flamethrower, it doesn't matter. I can live one. I do withdraw. I go out into my Tangrowth, so we have a layer of Spikes and a layer of Stealth Rocks onto his field. He's just going to go for the Volt Switch, which, you know what, is fine by me. I'm not too concerned about it, because now every time this Manectric switches in, it's taking the hazard damage, which is exactly what I want. So you're going to see here the Amoonguss is going to lose that 25% of HP from switching in. That's fine with me. I can now switch in my Skarmory. I can get one or two, but instead I decide, hey, you know what, let's go into Naganadel. If he goes for Sludge Bomb, it doesn't phase me. If he goes for HP Fire, it doesn't phase me. He cannot go for Sleep Powder because he was an Assault Vested Tangrowth. So with the HP Fire, that does allow me to set up a nasty plot. And since he was HP Fire, not HP Ground, Amoonguss can't really hit me. He's going to go for the Clear Smog, which was really annoying. The fact that he did have the Clear Smog, which was good prep on his part. So I decided, you know what, let's just go for the Fire Blast. We connect. It does not KO, which is just a especially defensive. This was to counter my Naganadel. Here I can go for Sludge Wave. Doesn't matter what attack I go for. But it will knock out the Amoonguss. Throat was getting a little scratchy there. With Amoonguss down, we do get the speed boost. With the speed boost, we do knock out Mega Manectric. We do knock out Aerodactyl now that we're +1. In comes Not Matt. We are Dragon Z, so we will fire off the Dragonium Z, the Devastating Drake, to knock out the Milotic. So he was a physically defensive Milotic, probably to take on my Mamoswine with Milotic falling now to the Z move. Naganadel is doing exactly what it needs to do. It found its opportunity to set up, and it is taking advantage of it. Milotic is going to fall, and we are sitting in a very nice position right now. We got a +2 speed Naganadel. I'm not worried about his potential Scarf Mienshao. I'm not worried about his Manectric anymore. As he goes out to Texas, which is the Mienshao. Mienshao at this point is going to take the hazard damage, Stealth Rock, the spikes, puts himself in range of Dragon Pulse, I believe, or Sludge Wave. With Sludge Wave, it'll just knock out the Mienshao. Naganadel with 3 kills, and I was a little worried. I thought fighting resisted poison, but it's the other way around, I believe. And he is just in a what's going to take a hit or what move am I going to miss at this point now is his only options. In comes Balto. Here's the hazard damage. I don't have to worry about a Draco Meteor. I can just go for the Sludge Wave, just the safest move. Will knock out the Mega Manectric. Mega Manectric's not bulky in any way, sort, or fashion. And now finally, we are just going to go for the final blow. Here he brings out his AG Slash. I'm just going to click Flamethrower. Not Flamethrower, Fire Blast, as Fire Blast will knock out the AG Slash if I could have connected. Instead, he's going to go for the stance change. He is going to go for the Flash Cannon or Shadow Ball, one of the two, and will pick up a knockout. And here I'm like, oh, what do I have for this thing? Because I have Mamoswine, but my issue is my Mamoswine's weakened to the point where Flash Cannon will not, or not Flash Cannon, Shadow Sneak might actually pick up a KO on my Mamoswine. So I just go out to my Assault Vested Tangrowth, since I do know that this thing is a special. AG Slash, I'm just going to go for the Earthquake, so it doesn't matter even if he goes into stance form. I can take a hit from AG Slash, and Earthquake will knock it out if I can live any hit. He's going to go to the Blade form. He's going to go for the Flash Cannon. It's going to do about 60%, I want to say. No, it does like 20%. And I go for the Earthquake, with it taking the entry hazards and it having no defenses in Blade form. It does pick up a knockout. Tangrowth picking up a kill, and with that we we pick up a 5-0 win against DS Gaming and his Birmingham Vulpix. Go over, check out his side. His side was probably up on time, unlike mine. But with all that being said, I will be back Thursday. I want to say Thursday with week number 7 against Tom Z. Week number 8 will be up Friday, and then Monday we will be all caught up with week 9 as the season is starting to close down. But with all that being said, guys, I am Johnny GB, and I am signing out.